Okay, welcome back for the third part of One Man's Faith. Job is now, we're now in about we're in chapter 3. Job saying, why am I even alive? I don't want to be, take me, so to speak. And when we get over it down into verses 20 and down to 26, Job says, oh, why give light to those in misery and life to those who are bitter? They long for death, and it won't come. They search for death more eagerly than for hidden treasures. They're filled with joy when they finally die, and rejoice when they find the grave. Why is life given to those with no future, whose God has surrounded with difficulties? I cannot eat for sighing. My groan pours out for water. Do you hear the condition that he's in? And then he says this, what I always feared has happened. What I always feared has happened. You see, there's that door. Fear is a door that Satan can use to come in. Okay? I have no peace. What I've dreaded has come true. I have no peace, no quietness. I have no rest. Only trouble comes. Okay? So we see here that there was a fear, and you can really see it kind of with Job always giving the sacrifices for his children. Okay, now these are older people. They should be giving their own sacrifices and following the Lord. But Job had some fears, and those fears can open a door to allow the Satan to come in and start to wreak havoc. Okay, and so now his first friend starts talking, and he tries to get in with Job. He says, "Will you be patient and let me say a word? For who could keep from speaking out? In the past you have encouraged many people. You have strengthened those who are weak. Your words have supported those who are failing. You encourage those with shaky needs. But now, when trouble strikes, you lose heart? You are terrified when it touches you. Doesn't your reverence for God give you confidence? Doesn't your life of integrity give you hope? Stop and think. Do the innocent die? When have the upright been destroyed? My experience shows that those who plant trouble and cultivate evil." See, here's the point that he's getting to. My experience shows that those who plant trouble and cultivate evil will harvest the same. A breath from God destroys them. They vanish in the blast of his anger. He's saying, listen, you've helped a lot of people, but now here's your time of trouble. Well, let me tell you why you're having it. It's because you've done something wrong, bucko. Let's get with it. But is his thinking from God? Now let's look real carefully here now. Verse 12 of chapter 4. This truth was given to me in a secret, as though whispered in my ear. It came to me in a disturbing vision at night. When people are fast asleep, fear gripped me. My bones trembled. A spirit swept past my face, and my hair stood on end. The spirit stopped, but I couldn't see its shape. There was a form before my eyes. In the silence, I heard this voice say, "Can a mortal be innocent before God? Can anyone be pure before the Creator? If God does not trust his own angels and has charged his messengers with foolishness, how much less will he trust people made of clay?" Now, understand what's going on here. Listen to what happens. Eliphaz, I want to call him Elihu. Eliphaz says, what I've just told you was something I learned in the night in my vision. I had this vision, and it was disturbing. That should be an indication right there to you that it's not from God. God is peace, okay? disturbing vision. Fear gripped me. My bones trembled. A spirit swept past my face. I want to indicate to you that I think and I believe that this is the Satan coming. Because listen to what he says. Can a mortal man be innocent before God? You see, the Satan has this thing against mortals, you and me. He doesn't like us. As a matter of fact, Jesus said in John 10, the adversary comes to kill, steal. It says it only comes to kill, steal, and destroy. You see, I guess I can say this, we in a sense took his place because we became the desire of God's heart and Jesus' heart. And as an angel, he didn't like that. He didn't like that idea at all. And so he's coming and he's presenting these things to Eliphaz. He says, can a mortal be innocent before God? Can anyone be pure before the Creator? If God does not trust his own angels, wait a minute, where did that come from? If God does not trust his own angels and has charged his messengers with foolishness, you see, this is not a spirit of God, okay? This is a spirit of our adversary, the Satan. Do you hear that? Listen, God does trust his angels. As a matter of fact, if you remember, God and two angels appeared to Abraham, or he was called Abram at the time, and God was going to make a covenant. God appeared to him and said, look, come out with me, look up at the stars. If you can count them, that's how many descendants you're going to have. And Abram says, well, God, how can I know? How do I know this is true? First of all, it's from God, duh, you know. But God said, okay, get these animals. And Abraham knew that he was going to make a covenant with him. And so he had two other angels with him. And God sent those two angels on to Sodom and Gomorrah while he stayed and he talked to Abraham. And this is where God says, well, should I tell Abraham what I'm doing? And so he says, I'm going down to see, I hear this cry coming out of Sodom. And I mean to, if it's true, I mean to destroy the city. And that's when Abraham said, well, God, you're not going to destroy the righteous with the wicked. That's not you. He said, if there are 50, and God said, if there are 50 righteous, I won't destroy it. And he got him down to where he says, well, what if I find 10? You see, but he had sent the angels, and it says in Genesis 19, and the two angels came to Sodom in the evening as Lot was sitting at the gate of Sodom. When Lot saw them, he arose to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground, and he said, now behold, my Lord, please turn aside into your servant's house and spend the night and wash your feet. Then you may rise early and go on your way. Lot didn't recognize them as angels at the time. And they said, no, but we shall spend the night in the square. And Lot said, I'd rather you stay at my house. See, Lot knew what was happening in Sodom. And so the angels agreed to go and stay at Lot's house. And the men of Sodom went to Lot's house and said, hey, send those two out. We want to have relations with them. They meant sex. And so Lot says, these guys are strangers and they are my guests. I won't do it. I'll send out my daughters. Oh, me. Oh, well. And they said, no, we want the men. And so they started to press in, and the two men put on their angelic powers, and blinded everybody. Took Lot and his family out. Now, the daughters' husbands, I think it was their husbands, wouldn't go. So it ended up being just Lot, his wife, and his daughters going out with two angels, and they were told never to turn, never to look back. If you remember, Lot's wife did look back. She became a pillar of salt. Okay, but God sent the angels. It wasn't that he didn't trust them. There's another example in Exodus 23. It says, "Behold, I'm going to send an angel before you to guard you along the way and to bring you into the place that I have prepared for you." He was talking to Moses. "Be on your guard before him and obey his voice, and do not be rebellious toward him, for he will not pardon your transgression, since my name is on him. But if you truly obey his voice and do all that I say, then I will be an enemy to your enemies and an adversary to your adversaries. For my angel will go before you and bring you into the land." Okay, so here is another time when the angels were used. Okay, this was an angel that was going to lead them in to the land of the Amorite, the Hittite, the Perizzites, the Canaanites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. And he says that I will completely destroy them. So to say that God does not trust his angels, you see, that's just a lie from the pit. Okay, the only, as a matter of fact, Daniel saw Michael and Gabriel once or twice, and they brought messages to him and showed him how to interpret things. Okay, the only time that we see, what I want to say, demonic angels, we know that from Revelations 12, it said there appeared in heaven this sign, a great red dragon having 7 heads, 10 horns, and his tail swept away a third of the stars of heaven. It's talking about the angels, and we know from this, and I think from Isaiah, that a third of the angels followed the Satan when he fell. And this is the only time that there's a negative with the angels. The angels normally did what God told them to do. God had complete trust in them, except for the ones that fell, but they had fallen. The rest of them didn't, okay? Hey, I got to take my last break. Sorry about that, so let's take that break and I'll be right back.